Why did you join the military?
I have a lot of family members that were in the military, and it was just something that I've always wanted to do. And when the time was right in my life, I went ahead and I joined the U.S. Army.
How long have you served in the military?
I have been in the military about 9 years. 1 year of that is active duty while I was deployed overseas.
Do you recall your first days of service?
I do. First place I had to report to was Fort Benning, Georgia, where I underwent an abbreviated version of Officer Candidate School. And I just remember being there in February and March when it was really cold, even though it was South Georgia, and traipsing through the woods with a bunch of other people looking for spots on a land navigation course and doing different stuff like that. Then I went to the military law school in Charlottesville, Virginia, because I'm a JAG officer, a judge advocate, or a military attorney. So I had to first go learn how to be an officer, then I had to go to the military law school and go through school all over again.
What was your first thought when you were told you were being deployed?
It's kind of hard to describe because when you join the military, you know that day in all likelihood is going to come. You're just not sure when. I remember my first thoughts were how I was going to explain this to my children. But I have a very strong wife, and she and I sat down and got together and we explained it to them, and we went on down the road of life.
How did you get through it?
I got through it by having a lot of faith and confidence, not only in Jesus, but also in the fellow service members that I was overseas with. We were about 9,000 miles away from home and had intermittent contact with home, so you really come to rely on those that you're there with. And you really come to rely on any communication that you can have with people back home, such as getting mail from your children or mail from a total stranger.
Where were you stationed overseas?
I was stationed at a base called Camp Lemonnier. It's in Djibouti, Africa. And I spent a lot of time in several different countries in East Africa.
How long were you deployed?
I was deployed for 322 days.
What was your first day like after you were deployed?
It was long. There's an 8-hour time difference between where I was stationed and where I was used to being here in Arkansas. So the day started when we got on the plane, started about midnight, and then we landed in Africa. It was midnight in Africa, but it was really only 4 p.m. on my body clock time, so I couldn't go to sleep. So I remember for like the first 3 days that I was in Africa, I didn't sleep a whole lot because my body time clock was so off.
Were you sent packages?
All the time.
How did getting sent packages affect your day?
They really brightened your day. They brightened everyone's day. I would get a package from home and I would walk around our battalion operations center and show everybody what I got. I would get sent cookies and stuff like that from my mom or from my wife, and I would walk around with a bag of cookies sharing them with everybody, and they just reminded us of home. But more importantly, they reminded us of why we were there and why we had volunteered. And they, no matter how bad our day got or how scary or hectic our situation might have been at different times, getting a package from home always reminded you, served to remind everyone there that we were there for a reason, and that was to make sure that we would have a home to come back to.